Bake Sales National Football Show. Hit the like button. We're going to go shopping here with Howie Bob Barker. Let's make a deal, Roseman. We're gonna suggest some guys to him. By the way, real quick, Howie deal or no deal, Roseman. I like it. Hey, one thing, AQ, it's actually not a goof. He actually does a pretty good look. I'll tell you what. Would we not agree that Darius Slay, the Gardner Johnson, and the signing of Hassan Reddick were all good? Those aren't stupid deals. The two trades, too. I mean, the trade for AJ, that's not awful. Those are not bad deals. Those are actually exceptional deals. Okay? I mean, I think that's his strength. He has so many good qualities in a general manager, and he has so many shitty ones. That's why you get a good year and a shitty year. His team is a reflect. Get this. You know how sometimes people say this, that a team is the reflection of their head coach? That team is the reflection of their general manager. One year you get exceptional talent. The next year you get a train wreck. You could win a Super Bowl and then 3 years later be a 4-win team. That's who he is. And it's hit or miss. And get this, he hits a lot and he misses a lot. That's why it's inconsistent. That's kind of who he is. It's like the mad scientist. He's like Jekyll and Hyde. 1 year, 22, exceptional. 23, train wreck. 17, exceptional. 2 years later, 4 wins. I mean, it's been a pattern. That's his pattern. The Eagles are a reflection of how Howie does business. It's hit or miss. He's like a stockbroker. You either hit on the stock or you don't, and it fails. Like a commodities exchange guy. Like a day trader. You know, he doesn't do it with putting it into annuities. He gambles. He gambles more than you think, actually. Howie would be fine. He's good. He needs to give up drafting. That, to me, would make him more of an exceptional general man. Get this, dual threat. If he gave up the college scouting stuff and the game day drafting, I think that would make him even more exceptional. I do. I think he would even be more. He's not good in the college draft. How many days and how many years are you going to go through this? He's just not great. Who's his greatest draft pick? Who's the greatest draft pick he's ever had? He didn't draft Lane. Okay, that was actually Chip Kelly guys. What's his greatest draft? Jalen Hurts? Okay. You and I differ on that. Smitty, Devontae Smith? Okay. I love that kid now. I was wrong. Okay, Smitty. Okay. Landon Dickerson's his greatest pick. Heck of a ball player. Okay. You really think that Howie Roseman knew to take Jordan Mailata, or are you not taking into account that Jeff Stoutland said, I want him? You really are under that impression that he said, I want the guy in the 7th round. Let's take him. I'll disagree with that. I think Stoutland had a lot to do with that. Okay? Hey, did you guys see the new Chunky Soup thing with Jason Kelsey? This guy's a rock star. Okay? This guy's a rock star. What is that thing? What is it? It's the Legends edition. Jason Kelsey. It's Kelly Green, too, the label. And it's got a picture of Jason Kelsey on it. You guys have to check it out. It's pretty cool. This guy's a rock star. This guy's a rock star. So his face is on Chunky Soup. There's the best Eagle that's ever been on Chunky Soup. It's Jason Kelsey. At least you put a winner on one finally. He's in the labels and Kelly Green. Okay. Kelsey brothers doing too much crying. Leave him alone, man. It's all good. It's all good. 5 million people watch the draft or watch the combines. Just for the record. That's why Howie had binoculars out. Howie had to be seen by 5 million people. Bob Barker, the general manager of the Eagles, Bob Barker. He's a glorified Bob Barker. There you go, Xander. Look at it right here. Look at it. Yeah, let's make a deal. All right. Let's move it here. Howie's going to have almost nearly $50 million in salary cap space. Will they be big players in spending money? Howie's a rock star. I know he thinks it. I don't know how many rock stars had a bomb tour like that, especially the last 8 weeks of the season. Shit, you might want to cancel that tour. You think they're spending a lot of money? Think they're spending? Okay. So I've written down 3 guys that I think that are in your price group. Okay? Flexing goes, prove me wrong, Howie. Let me say something to you, man. I got one guy on here, and this goes to Bill Colangelo, our great host here on JAKIB Sports. He loves this guy. And let me start there since I buried the lead on it. How many people would like to have this guy, Pat? Let's look at it objectively, okay? Since Bill Cauliflower loves, Big Bill loves Patrick Queen. You tell me. Age 24. Are you kidding, Flexen? I love the kid. He's a paisan. Hey, Bill, if I recognize you and I say your name, be worried when I don't. Because I don't know who you are. Most of the time, I don't know who you are. Okay? It's a good thing. Relax. I wanted them to draft Queen. Okay? Here's Patrick Steve McQueen. Ravens. 24. He's never missed a game. Had 133 tackles. This would be an absolute massive sign for the Eagles if they were able to do this. Okay? His market value was $18.5 million. Do you believe, Chris, Howie Roseman will spend $18.5 million on Patrick Queen? Man, I really like that Rolex, but I can only afford that Raymond Weil. You know, I only got $900 on me. I'm going to have to settle for the Raymond Weil. Not that that's a bad watch. I got a few of those myself. Okay? But LJ, LJ, you want to be a Super Bowl contender? You're going to have to pay for it. LJ goes, Queen would be a luxury signing. We have too many holes to fill on defense, so we aren't in a position to make that type of deal. Now, here's the only thing, LJ, wait, Steve, hang on. Guys, the only reason why it's not that bad a deal, I'll tell you why. Because the player pays for himself. If you're paying a guy that kind of money and you don't have to worry about that position for the next decade or 9 years, 8 years, something like that, you don't have to worry about that position, and you got a bona fide all-pro in the middle of your field, and that kind of pay for it itself. You know, I mean, if you could put, you see, his age is the thing I dig in his production. The money's massive. That's a big contract. And you're going to have to sign him to a 3-year contract. This is $100 million. Hey, this is going to be a $100 million deal. This is going to look like Roquan Smith's deal. Are you willing to pay a guy 3 years, $100 million? You won't give Reddick $18 million? Absolutely not. Because he can't do anything but pass rush. It was evident last year. Did you not see George Kittle destroy him? You see how many tackles they missed? They ran at him too. And every time they ran at him, they ran him over. Absolutely, I wouldn't pay that guy $18 million. He's not that great a player. He's a phenomenal pass rusher. But when you get away from that, he's not very good. That's why he's on 3 different teams in 4 years. And that's why the Eagles told him to go find another dance partner if he could. Don't you think there's anything to that? He's on 3 teams in 4 years, and the current team he's on told him to go find somebody, and if they pay him more, good luck to you. You don't think there's anything to that? I don't know, man. I don't see the Steelers telling TJ Watt to go find a dance partner. Do you? You think the Browns are going to go to Myles Garrett? Hey, your contract's up, and if you can find a better suitor, we'd like to see what your market value is. I don't think they're trying to do that. Reddick is worth 16 to 18 million. Not on the Eagles, he ain't. He doesn't do enough. I want a guy who can stop the run, cover tight ends, and pass rush. That's the value to me at 18 million. Reddick does none of those things. Or wait, he does one of those 3 skill sets. That's not good enough. It's not good enough. Especially on a football team, like LJ says, that has too many holes on it. So you're going to give a guy a one-trick pony, $18 to $20 million, and pray he's your guy when Nolan Smith shit the bed, and you're not going to go out and come on, man. You're paying Patrick Queen $33 million a year at 3 years, $100 million. No. Okay, 2, 4, 6. It's $60 million then, Dirty D. Okay? Fake news, Sills, and you know it. What's fake news about it? He can't. Dude, your pass defense was atrocious. Your run defense was atrocious, and they ran at him. He's been on 3 different teams in 4 years. What's fake news about that? What did I say there that's not true? What did I say? And the Eagles told him to go find a dance partner. What's not true about that? What am I misquoting? What am I misquoting? Reddick can't stop the run. He's not very good at it. They run right at him. Were you not watching your defense at the end of the year give up 150 yards on the ground rushing, 138 yards on the ground rushing at the end of the season as an average? You were getting wiped out, and they were running right at him. What are you talking about? That you're blinded by your passion for the player and not reality. That's why, you see, guys, somebody like Fly Parks, he'll tell you bullshit because he likes the player so much. There's a reason why a guy is told to go find another team. He ain't telling you that. Fly, why would the Eagles tell him to go find another team? Why would they do that? If they love the guy so much and they love the player. Would you tell your wife to go find another husband, and if you can find a better one, go ahead? If you really loved the player that much, would you really tell someone that you really wanted to be part of your future to go find another team? It doesn't make sense. I don't know. Ask Howie. There you go, guy. Great debate. Trade for Surtain, sign and extend Gay or Queen. I like both those linebackers. So let's just say this. Patrick Queen is out. Now, they could shock the shit out of you and me and sign the guy and give him that $60+ million deal. If TJ Watt is worth $30 million, I'd say 18 a year for Reddick is a good deal. But not on that team with too many holes. So you're going to pay $18 million for a guy that doesn't do all three skill sets, and you're going to be in the same defensive scheme you were a year ago with the same personnel, except for the draft picks and a couple free agent signs, and you think you're going to be a top 15 defense because you signed Vic Fangio. That is a pipe dream. You're not thinking realistic. That defense is 2.5 years away from being rebuilt. You're not building that over in one offseason. That, you know why you're not building that defense up in an offseason? Because you've had years of failure at the draft positions of need on that side of the ball, and it's caught up with you. That's why that's not a 1 year or one offseason fix, is because of the colossal failures in the draft. And let's take a look at it. Nolan Smith has given you nothing. Nakobe Dean has given you nothing. Jordan Davis has given you something. Jalen Carter has given you something. Keely Ringo has given you nothing. Sidney Brown, nothing. All these guys that you've drafted have had no impact on your football team. Zero impact. And if anything, it's marginal. Okay? It's absolutely marginal on the defensive side of the ball. Your linebacker decision-making and personnel, you couldn't even replace Kaiser White. You know, that was one of the points that I was making. I think Xander was still doing the show last year when I was making the point. So you're going to you guys were okay moving off of Kaiser at 117 tackles last year. Shit, you couldn't even replace him. And Kaiser was a good ball player. I wouldn't put him in one of the top echelon, top 15 linebackers in the league. But he's better than anything you had on your team this year. So you let two linebackers go that you couldn't replace. And you tried to replace them with trash pails. It made no sense. Well, Kaiser White is replaceable. Funny, you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. Okay? I like the guys you're talking about, LJ. You called Kaiser White and TJ. I'll give that to you. Hey, Fly, here. Dude, and by the way, Fly, I know everyone's saying, hey, Sills, way to go on Dean. That's not what I wanted. I don't want the kid to fail. That's not true. I don't hope for any kid. Do you think I hope for Nolan Smith? Here's the difference between us. You know, I may be critical of your team, but I do want you guys to know this. And guys, you guys really, I hope, are starting to get an understanding of how I think. I'm not hoping for Nolan Smith to fail. I'm not hoping for Nakobe Dean to fail. I don't root for that just to make my takes right. That's an asshole that does that shit. I'm not looking to be right so that validates my takes. Those guys are pure assholes that do that. Okay? Totally pure assholes. Like when I first came on with JAKIB and Shit, Xander called me out right away. He goes, Sills, what do you make it? Devontae, I think it's a great draft pick. He's a schwimp. He's what? Sure enough, the guy turned out to be one of the best players in team history. And he is. Great for him. Kudos. Way to go. That's what I'm talking about. I like that kind of story. Not rooting for anyone's failure here. But I'm not going to not say what I see right now on March 8th and who this guy is. Well, Sills, maybe he gets some. Dude, great. You're talking again about that stupid word potential. I hate that word. Potential is something you haven't done. It's a stupid word. It's like apologizing and doing the same shit again. Okay? That's right, flexing. If he fails, he fails. If he succeeds, awesome for us. If he fails, awful for us. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's how, and I completely agree with you. Flexing, that's how I look at it. Okay? If he dies, he dies. Yeah, I can never get away, Big Chris, from a legendary Rocky reference. Always know this. Rocky, in my opinion, is one of the greatest movies, if not one of the greatest movies in the history of movies. I like Rocky 1, my favorite. Okay? Plus, he's a hurricane. How could I not like Stallone? Used to come watch Big Sills play. Love Sylvester Stallone. Oh, and of course, being Sylvester Stallone, he's a Miami Hurricane. Big Sills will always go, if he dies, he dies. Hey. Sills, Chris Sims could take some lessons from you, Sills. Joseph, see, the lame-ass sports talk people believe that they have to validate their takes with a guy failing. When in some aspects, for me, I would rather fail than a Kobe Dean failing the Eagles. Because here's another reason, Joseph. Who in the hell wants to talk about, like Xander said, who wants to talk about a 4-win football team? What do you think this is? We covering the Arizona Cardinals? Nobody wants to cover the Cardinals, especially me. You know what I'm saying? Covering the Cardinals? Bob, if we spend $18 million at linebacker and sign Willie Gay and Jordan Brooks, Bob, that's a thumbs up. That's a thumbs up, Bob. That's kind of what the Bears did. By getting rid of Roquan, they'd let Baltimore pick that up. Bob, why you hated on AJ? Because AJ's bipolar. Hate the media, love the media, love the media, hate the media, love the media. Then he gets a victory parade on Broad Street from WIP in the afternoon. Isn't this great? He came on and called in. Holy, oh my God. It's wonderful. It's unbelievable. It's like calling into Dr. Ruth. Can you believe it? I mean, we went over everything from masturbation to holy cow. I mean, the media conversations. It was really helpful, and I hope AJ has a really great rest of the day. Oh my God. It's like listening to back in the day, Dr. Ruth and AJ talking on that AIP show. Guy's bipolar. Which is it, dude? You hate us or you like it? Okay. Check Sills' cup, what he's drinking. I don't drink and drive, which means when Sills is driving the show, Big Sills don't drink. No, thank you. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to not talk to you guys for a week. Great. I don't care if you don't talk to me ever. As a matter of fact, I hope you stop talking. And, I mean, that's my leader. My problem with AJ is his character. Or he is a character. I don't know. I can't tell. You think AJ's a bad guy? No. I just think he's weird. I mean, yeah. No, do I think he's harmful and hurtful? No. He's just weird. And that's the captain of your team? That guy? Shit. No wonder you're chaotic everywhere. One day you're here, one day you're there. One day you're over here, one day you're here. Which is a guy consistent or not? Then again, nothing last year was consistent about the Eagles. And it was a prime example of the wide receiver. That's how he behaved. You know what's funny? Your football team behaved like your head coach and your diva wideout last year. Inconsistent. You think there's any coincidence to that? Or no? Nick Sirianni, I mean, you talk about a guy who tells fables. Shit, Hemingway would be very excited about the books that he writes. Yeah, a cold, dark day in Seattle. Yeah, you know, we were hoping for pass interference. It never came. And AJ and everyone are like, Jalen, I don't know what he's talking about. We make the play up. Hey, Nick, they said you lied. Oh, yeah, go? Holy cow. Talk about deflecting. Right? That's right, baby. There's your leader. So when you ask me, AJ saved Hurts and Nick's NFL life. Really? Where was he the last 9 games of the season? I missed him. SOS. Beep, 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 beep. This is the Titanic. We've just hit an iceberg. California, how far away are you from coming to the Titanic? Beep, beep, beep. Carpathia, how far away are you from coming to the Titanic? 5 hours. 5 hours? I got 2 minutes. Beep, beep, beep. We're going down at the head. Hey, the Eagles are going down at the head. Hey, Captain Smith, women and children. Women and children. Holy shit. Too easy. Too easy. Going down at the head. Don't forget Jason Cole 4:30. Philly Godfather at 5:30 Eastern Time. AJ Hurts, Ben Sirianni. Okay. It's official. Mac Jones on the trading block. Woof. I'm sure there'll be a strong market for old Mac. That Bama flame-throwing quarterback. Woo. Dual co-sales. We need to drink together. Yeah, as long as I can walk to my hotel, we're good. McSeals don't get into a car like that. Mac Jones a backup? No, because there's too many shitty quarterbacks. Dude, if Tyrod Taylor could start, Mac Jones could start. Yes, sir, baby. All right, here's 2 other dudes. So Patrick Queen, guys, Patrick Queen is a guy that would be an absolute course change for an organization that doesn't like the course change. We'll get a driver. Hey, Xander's my driver. Hey, Duel, Xander's my driver. Especially Big Seals doesn't leave bars drunk. I don't. That doesn't work for me, man. No way. I get drunk at home if I have to, and in hotels where I'm staying. Never in a million years would I be behind the wheel. That'll never happen. No, thank you. Okay, I got 2 other dudes. Would you guys be willing and open? Xavier McKinney, 24 years old, 17 games last year, 9 interceptions in 49 games. Pro Football Focus has ranked him the #1 safety. Had 78 solo tackles in 23. And here's a price tag. His market value was $10 million. Is that something you'd be open to? $10 million. He's 24 years old. Had almost 80 tackles last year. Knows the division. And rated one of the top safeties in. So Steve doesn't want the top safety in pro football last year on your Eagle team when you got the worst safeties. You'd rather draft an unknown? How's that make sense? How's that make sense? He's better than even the guy in Baltimore. Sills, would you rather have McKinney or Gardner Johnson? McKinney. He's better. He's a better player. He's a better ball player. Now, Gardner Johnson's cheaper. Gardner Johnson's a cheaper player. Okay? Played 17 ball. And here's the other thing. He's 24. I mean, and I know Gardner Johnson's young too. LJ's right too. He's more durable. And he's a bigger player. He's a good football player, man. I mean, he's, to me, and the price tag, now here, with Howie paid $10 million for a safety. Do you think he paid $10 million for a safety? Boy, I'll tell you what, you have him and you have Sidney Brown helping Sidney Brown along, and you have Reed Blankenship, Xavier McKinney, Bradbury, and Slay. That's not awful. That's not awful. I mean, $10 million. Hey, 18.5 for the. See what I'm saying here? Howie's going to have to spend some of the cash here. If Fangio wants him, it's a done deal. Hey, you have to have good players at every level. You don't have to have spectacular players. We may never see another Brian Dawkins again. Hey, Chris. Yeah. You may never see another Brian Dawkins again. You may never see another Cam Chancellor. You may never see another Ed Reed. Those guys are hard to find. Dude, the best safety in football is that kid Hufanga who got hurt with the 49ers last year, and I wouldn't put him in any of those leagues. Hufanga, Brian Dawkins, not in the room. And he's considered one of the better safeties. And the kid Bates down in Atlanta. Those guys aren't in those guys' conversations. Like with Ed Reed and Dawkins, not happening. Not even remotely close. Okay? Those are special ball players. That hitters, leaders, contact guys, no shit dudes, winners, champions, all that. Play with intensity every day. Okay? Okay, I mean, tremendous ball player. Sills, pre-draft moves. Gay 20. I like this. Way to go, Bob. You're thinking here. Hey, Xander, put that up. Put Bob's up there. I'd be curious to see how he performs on defense that doesn't blitz the quarterback. True. Sills, pre-draft moves. Gay 26 linebacker, Kansas City. $7 million. That's his market value. You're right. Jordan Brooks, LB. 11.2. It's cheaper than Queen. Huff 26 edge. Geno Stone Baltimore 7.5. That's 35.7 of the 50. And you got money left over for your draft. Great stuff, Bob. Bob, that's really good. Bob's looking at building, and now you draft and fill holes. And by the way, Bob, that's what Howie does. See, Bob, if Howie went down your route, I'd feel comfortable he could retool that defense in one offseason. If he does exactly what you just said. Okay? If they go down that and do that, that's exactly how you build your defense back, right there. Now, the problem with that, though, Bob, it's a short-term fix. Well, no, it's not, because they're 26-year-old linebackers. You're going to want to try to get another contract on them. Here's an edge rusher from the Texans. Jonathan Grenard. He's 26. 12 and a half sacks last year. 23 sacks in 48 games. And his price tag is $13.4 million. And I think he's one of the most underrated players in the league. Jonathan Grenard, Texans. Once again, 26, 12 and a half sacks, and 23 sacks in 48 games. And he was with DeMeco Ryans this past season. Now, I think the coaching down there is exceptional. Okay, I do. I think the coaching is exceptional. I'm awake. Are you? 13 isn't bad. And get this, 13-4 for a guy who got 12 and a half sacks last year. And you put him on the other side of Sweat to replace Brandon Graham. So then you got Josh Sweat, Jonathan Grenard at 26. You got two 26-year-old defensive ends and two 21-year-old defensive tackles. And like Bob said, you went out in free agency and you signed some 26, 27-year-old linebackers that you can have in the room for the next 4 years. That, to me, makes sense. Okay? Yeah, Chris, I think they're going edge. In the draft and in free agency, I think, see, Chase Young, again, Steve, you're chasing the name. Chase Young did not have a productive season like this guy Grenard did. And he's cheaper. See, you look at the name Jonathan Grenard and go, well, you know, Chase Young. Chase Young is a name like Barkley. See, Barkley, to me, that I'm not paying for a damaged BMW when I could buy a spectacular Acura that's going to be reliable. I want reliability. And I heard Bill talking about DeAndre Swift. I'm not paying him $7 million either, because I think he's a one-year wonder. Sills, didn't that guy from the Texans get replaced by Barnett? No. He was on the other side. No. He had a great Super Bowl, Steve. There's no getting around that. He played spectacular in the Super Bowl. He was great. I'm talking Chase Young. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Randy Gregory, too. Okay? And you know, I heard you guys talking about the running backs, okay, for free agency. Here, what or who helps the Eagles more at running back? Barkley, Henry, Jacobs, or Swift? Which one of those four, in your opinion, helps the Eagles the most? Barkley, Henry, Jacobs, or Swift? In 2024, and maybe the following year, 25, who helps the Eagles more? Jacobs, Henry, Barkley. If I had to rank the players, Henry's 1, Jacobs is 2, Barkley, Barkley's 3, and Swift is 4. Now, price tags are also going to be a factor here. And I don't believe that just because the current market value is at $10 million for Derrick Henry, you might be able to get him for 7.5. You put $7.5 million on Derrick Henry, in my opinion, I'm signing that. I don't want Saquon Barkley. Overrated, overhyped, not productive enough. Here, let's take a look at this. I think, by the way, Fly, I'm really not saying you're wrong. It's a preference here. So let's take a look at Saquon Barkley here. Saquon Barkley stats. Let's take a look at what he's done in his pro career. And again, I'm not even going to bother you with Henry's numbers because they're insane. So this is what he's done. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the last 4 years, Saquon Barkley has missed 15 games, 4 games, 1 game, and 3 games. Here's his numbers: 34 rushing, 20, 593 and 21, 13, 12 and 22, 962 last year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In 6 years, 3 times he went over 1,000. He's got 35 TDs in 6 years. You're going to pay $8 million for a guy that in the last 2 years or 3 years has rushed for 593, 13, 12, and 962. And you're going to say that that guy's an elite running back? He's not elite. Now, Sills, would you say that the team sucks? Well, the year previous, they did get to the playoffs and beat the Vikings in the postseason. They weren't awful. This past season, they were. But, I mean, in 22, they went to the postseason. And they were a playoff team. Good call. I mean, look at what 5-Star's saying here. Sills, you really think that Barkley can't produce in the Eagle offense? 5-Star, that's my point. DeAndre Swift and Miles Sanders are 1,000-yard rushers behind that line. Why would you want to overpay a guy when you can get another guy like one of those dudes to have the same production as Barkley? If you put Derrick Henry behind, if I'm going to spend that money, I'm spending it for Henry, not him. Henry's not hurt a lot. And he's a horse. So let's do this. Who would have a better season behind the Eagle O-line? Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley? I mean, I don't believe that that's even a question. And by the way, what's Barkley's age? He's 26. He's 3 years younger than Derrick Henry. I don't know. So again, if Barkley wants to take a haircut and he wants to come to Philadelphia for $5 million, sure. $8 million, $7 million. I'm talking more about Derrick Henry there. That's right, Joshua. Derrick, it's a no-brainer. So I'll tell you something, guys. If somehow, can you imagine? Hey, let's fantasize here for a second. If that guy Brock Bowers falls down there and you draft him and you got Goddard and Bowers and AJ and Devontae and you sign Derrick Henry with Hurts, if you don't win a Super Bowl, it'll be the biggest travesty since that 17-0 Patriot team. Dare I say it'll be the dream team. Draft a running back? I guess so. Okay, watch this. So wait, Flexen. Would you rather draft Derrick Henry? I mean, would you rather sign Derrick Henry to your offense or draft a running back? if you feel you're that close. See, Kenny Gainwell and Derrick Henry is not awful. Kenny Gainwell and DeAndre Swift is. Stills running back. I'd sign A.J. Dillon, 3.5. Cordell Patterson, 2.5. Dillon's only 25, and Patterson helps in the return game. Hey, Bob, what are you taking? Your smart-ass pills? Those are good stuff today, man. Dude, that Bob's talking about how you build the team back up again. Okay? That's how you build the team up. I like that. Gainwell got to go. Boston Scott, too. I don't even know. Hey, Boston Scott, Rashad Penny, being on your football team made no sense last year because you did nothing with him. Sign Barkley and draft Allens from, dude, this love affair with Saquon Barkley is a joke. Here, now, and maybe, Steve, if you're going down this route, can I tell you what I think I would do if I were the Chargers? I would sign Chris Jones. Weaken a divisional opponent, strengthen my team with one move. You feel me? And if you're going down that line, weaken the Giants. Not that the Giants need to be weakened because they're weak already with management. That's a way to look at this, and a lot of things that are being thrown out now. Okay, and that's a lot of things are being thrown out. Is just that kind of scenario. If I'm the Chargers and I'm Jim Harbaugh, I want to sign Chris Jones in free agency and put Chris Jones in the middle of my defense and hurt Kansas City in the process. That gives me a better chance of winning the division in the AFC West if you weaken Kansas City. Now, if you're thinking like that, Barkley out of the building, I'd rather go Tony Pollard and start sending some smoke signals that I'm interested in Tony Pollard. Because what will happen if the Eagles go out and say, I'm interested in Tony Pollard? What will Jerry do? That may force Jerry Jones to have to come up with a way to sign Pollard. And plus, that'll put other teams in a division like Washington to maybe go out there instead of having Antonio Gibson by himself, Antonio Gibson and Tony Pollard in Washington with Russell Wilson. That is going to have to make, you see, right now you're playing a game with everybody in your division. The one thing you have to remember during this time in free agency, it's not about beating the Chiefs. It's about winning your division. It's about drafting against your division opponents. What are they doing in free agency? Sending false smoke signals out. Even, hey, wait a minute. It's not the point, Taylor. That's not the point. Here. So the New York Giants, why would the New York Giants show interest in Russell Wilson? Why would they do that? Why would they do that? Because do the Giants want Russell Wilson in Washington? Or are they talking because they're hearing that Washington is going to be the next team up after Pittsburgh? He's meeting with Pittsburgh today. He met with the Giants yesterday. And supposedly they're going to meet in Washington. Is this something that also you go like this? So let's get into this. And you'll have the worst quarterback in the division if Russell Wilson signs with Washington. Because Dak, Hurts, okay, Russell Wilson in the NFC East, Daniel Jones would be the worst quarterback in the division. I mean, I'm not suggesting to you that Russell Wilson's some superstar ball player. I'm suggesting to you that New York has to, if Washington gets Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, it's an automatic improvement. And I don't think Sam Howell's terrible, but he's not going to win a game, and he's not going to win that division for you. And remember something about Washington, they got $90 million in cap space. So they can do some things. You know what they can do? Think about this. They could sign Russell Wilson and make a trade with Minnesota and sign Justin Jefferson. Get $87 million in cap space and send them draft picks. They could sign Justin Jefferson. They have the money to do that. And you sign him on a league minimum deal, 1.3. Economically sound. It's an upgrade. And it affords me the ability to go trade for Justin Jefferson. Wilson's done. Hey, dude, he theoretically had a better season than Jalen. How can you say that? 26 touchdowns. He threw more touchdowns, less picks, 8. Had a better quarterback rating. Had a better completion percentage rating. He wasn't terrible. Your guy was 18 turnovers. I like how people throw shade on someone else, and then when you look at your guy, you're trying to tell me you think your guy has had some sort of superstar year. He sucked. And he couldn't stop the bleeding at the end of the season. And at the end of the day, I think Sean Payton's overrated. I don't think Sean Payton's a Hall of Fame coach. I think he's a modern-day George Seifert. I think he rested on the laurels of having Drew Brees. Drew Brees was a Pro Bowler in San Diego before he hurt his shoulder. Wasn't like all of a sudden Sean Payton, some superstar guy. I don't believe that. Okay? I don't believe that. I just don't. I think he's a good coach, not a great coach. Hurts needs a running game? You had a 1,000-yard back and a Pro Bowl back. You mean Hurts needs to run the ball? I would say this to you. Is Russell Wilson Seattle first couple of years? No. But I don't think you need that in Washington to win. Look at I don't think you need that. Okay? Broncos gave up 2 1s. And what else, Chris? Money. That $85 million. Say, look, get this, Chris. $85 million cap hit and 2 1s. That deal's worse than the deal for Trey Lance with the Dolphins because of the amount of money. My friend Jason Colf, NFL Insider Hall of Fame voter, is all over this. Yahoo Sports, that'll be at the bottom of the hour. Also, the legendary Philly Godfather at 5:30. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.